Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of Open Gym. This week's featured video question comes from Twitter at JMW1235, a frequent contributor, and wants to know, will Brad Davison get his three-point shot back this year? I can safely say that yes, Brad's going to start making shots consistently again. He's always been a streaky shooter. I think he's going to go through a stretch where he's really hot, because that's usually what happens. He kind of ebbs and flows. He's a big averages out guy, and he's right. It usually does. He'll go through 4 or 5 game stretches where he's not hitting his outside shots, and then he'll go for 3 or 4 or 5 game stretches where he's pretty hot. So I expect that to come. That'd be great news for the Badgers. I mean, Johnny Davis has been carrying a pretty heavy load. Tyler Wall sometimes. If they can get Brad going, they're a really tough team to beat. Let's look over some numbers quickly. He was 4 of 28 from three-point range over his previous 4 games, and then went 3 of 8 against Indiana from beyond the arc. So that may be a sign that of things to come, that the three-point shot will get knocked down more consistently. Another thing I wanted to point out is I think he's 15 of 56 over the last 5 games, counting the Indiana game, and that's overall shooting, which obviously is less than ideal. But a couple things to point out. He's 17 of 17 from the line during that stretch. And he does so many other things on the court that helps his team win. I've gotten some suggestions on Twitter that he's a liability on offense and maybe should sit him down more often. But I just wouldn't do that. I really wouldn't. He helps his team win in so many ways. His hustle, his leadership, just his talking on the court, I think, is so important. And the threat of a three-point shot is important too. I know, I criticized him during the Rutgers loss because he took 4 consecutive three-point shots over the course of, I think, 3 possessions. And a couple of those I thought were shaky shot selection. So he can't do that. There's got to be a happy middle where he's hunting his shot but can't force the issue. And I think he knows that better than anybody. Definitely still want him to shoot. I think it's great that he's so confident that he doesn't hesitate to shoot during shots. We saw that at Indiana. There are some big moments where he wants to be the guy with the ball in his hands. He wants to take those big shots, and that's great. He needs to continue to keep doing that without forcing the issue. And that's sometimes a fine line to walk, but Brad's in his 5th year now. He's certainly more than capable of doing that. One other thing I wanted to point out in terms of Brad getting hot is, he went through a 5-game stretch earlier this season, probably midway through the Big Ten season, where he was 21 of 39 from three-point range over a 5-game stretch. That's the type of thing that I think we could see down the stretch here. Late in the 2019-20 season, when they were making that final push to a Big Ten title, over the final 7 games, he was 20 of 38 from three-point range. So again, a guy who's very capable of getting hot. It would be a huge benefit for this team if they can get him hot down the stretch into postseason, take some of the pressure off Johnny. If they can somehow get Johnny and Brad and Tyler Wall all going offensively at the same time, which I'm not sure has happened yet this season, again, they're going to be really tough out if that can happen. So thanks for watching. Thanks for reading the rest of the mailbag below. A lot of questions about the crowds at Kohl Center and what can possibly be done about building up that atmosphere. Some UW football question, a Packers question, and a couple kind of off the wall questions about tampering in the age of NIL, and also kind of why football is the only one to have the red shirt rule where you can play 4 games without losing the red shirt, and why that doesn't apply to other sports. I sought out some help from the director of compliance at UW to help me answer a couple of those questions, and some really good stuff in there. So thanks for watching, thanks for reading, and have a good week.